Okay, so before this video starts, I just want to say thanks for 100 subs. It doesn't seem like a lot of people, but it is still quite a few people. So thank you, and let's get back to the video. So welcome back to the FPS tutorial series. In the last episode, we created view models, and we made it so you can change between the two. In this video, we're going to add aiming down sights, sprinting, and sprinting animations. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go to our framework client, and we're going to do aiming down sights. So if we scroll down to where we put user input service.input began, we can go down a few lines and we can say if input.user input type equals enum.user input type dot mouse button 2, so the right mouse button, then this will detect when we press the right mouse button. So if we say print aiming, and then we play, and then we print, and then we press the right mouse, if you look in the console, it will say aiming. Okay, so what we'll do now is up here, where our variables are, we'll say local aim cf equals cframe.new. So what this will do is, this is creating a variable, that's the cframe, but it's just an empty cframe. What we'll also do is we'll go down here and we'll say user input service dot input ended. So when we release a key, connect function, and then we'll say if input, I forgot to put input up here, if input dot user input type equals enum dot user input type dot mouse button 2, then, so this is detecting when we release the right mouse button. So if we say print not aiming, when we go into the game, if we press it, it doesn't do anything, but as soon as we release it, it's going to print not aiming. So what we'll type is we'll say local offset equals framework.viewModel.aimPart.cFrame colon 2 object space framework.viewModel.primaryPart.cFrame, and then we'll say mcf equals mcf colon loop, and then we need a goal cframe, which is offset, and then comma, and then we need a number. So the lower you go, the smoother it'll be. So I'm going to say 0.1 because we can't have 0. So let's say 0.1. Up here, where we do that, we'll say times MCF. And now when we play, I mean it moves, but it's not working the way I want it to. The reason why this is because this is only running when we press it once. So what we're going to do is we're going to make another variable up here saying local is aiming equals false, and now when we release the key, we'll say is aiming equals false, and when we press it, is aiming equals true. We'll control X this so we have it copied, but it's not there anymore. We'll scroll up to our render step. We'll go down a bit, and what we'll do is we'll say if is aiming then, and then what we'll do is we'll say else, copy the same code, but instead of this part we'll just say cframe.new. And now what we need to do is next to is aiming we'll say and framework.viewModel does not equal nil. So if there is a view model, we can aim down sights. and it works with both guns. There is a bug when this happens, we'll fix that in a second. But now we can aim down sights, and you can change the speed. It still needs to be tweaked a bit because it's very basic, but it's working. I think I want to make bigger guns like move slower. Yeah, we'll do that now. So we're going to open the module scripts, which I don't think we've actually typed anything in. No. So the first thing we're going to type is, we'll say can aim equals true in both of these because we should be able to aim. Then underneath we'll say aim smooth equals, for the M9 I'll say 0.1, which was the same as last time, and for the M4 I'll say like 0.25. I think that'll work. So then here we'll say framework.module script, or .module dot, and then aim smooth, and we'll put those here. And in this if statement we'll put another and we'll say framework.module dot can aim. So if you can aim, then it will let you aim. And the aim smooth is just this value. And we aim. Oh, that's way too fast. I made it too high. So make the M9 like 1.5. Or actually maybe 1.25. Make it 1.25. And the M4A1 I'll make it like 0.08. Try that. I like that speed a lot more. That's much better. For the M9, yep. But we need to check if the can aim thing works. So we'll set it on the M4 to false, just to test. And we can't aim, but with the M9 we can. But we can't with the M4. I'm going to publish that really quick. So what we'll do now is we'll work on weapons voice. So down here in our render steps, well actually we need some variables first. So we'll say local sway amount equals, and we'll say like, I don't know, 0.2. And then we'll say local sway cf for cframe equals cframe.new. And then we need another variable called local last camera cf equals cframe.new, and then that's all we need. So then what we'll do is go into render steps right here, and we'll say local rot equals camera dot cframe colon 2 object space, and then we'll say last camera cf. Then we'll say local x comma y comma z equals rot colon 2 orientation. Then what we'll say after that is we'll say sway cf equals sway cf colon lerp, and then we'll say cframe.angles math.sin x times sway amount. Do the same for y. And then comma 0. Inside of that bracket we'll say 0.1. And then last camera cf equals camera.cframe, and that's weapon sway. So what we can do now is if we go down to render steps, wherever it is, yeah, we can say, I'm going to put that there, and we can say sway cf. So now if we try it, it should move smoothly when we look around. Yep, as you can see, it moves smoothly. So what I'm going to do is, if you want it to move the other way, you can just put a negative on it. I'll put like -3. So if you want it to look like this, which I do, yeah. For aiming down sights, I want it to go the other way, rather than this way. So what we'll do is we'll say local aim square amount equals 0.2. Don't know why I put a semicolon there, but okay. Then I'll make another one called like local current square amount equals, we'll just leave it at 0 for now. I'll put it as that. I'll put it as square amount, and then we can put it here. And what we can do here is we can say current square amount equals aim square amount, and then down here we can say current square amount equals square amount. So what this will do is if we play it, when we look side to side without aiming, it does this, and then when we're aiming, it like makes it go the other way. I just think it looks a bit better. It's up to you what you want to do. So what we can do now is I'm going to start working on walking animations. So first of all, we need to do sprinting actually. So we're going to create a new script in starter character scripts. Make it a local script, and I'll call it like character. We need to get the user input service again, so we'll say local user input service equals game get service user input service, like that, capital. And we'll say local run service equals game get service run service. Local character equals script.parent, and then I think we'll leave it at that. Actually no, local camera equals game.workspace.camera. Then here what we'll say is we'll say user input service dot input began connect function input, and we'll say if input.keycode equals enum.keycode, and then whatever key you want for sprint. So I'm going to do left shift, and then we'll copy this same code again down here, and we'll change it to input ended. So up here we'll say, we'll actually put it up here, we'll say local humanoid equals character wait for child humanoid, and the humanoid's got like health, the walk speed, stuff like that. So right here we'll just say humanoid dot walk speed. Actually we'll say if humanoid, then humanoid dot walk speed equals, and for walks I'm gonna set it to like let's set it to like 30, and then I'm gonna put input ended, I'm gonna put something like 20. But what we want to do now is go over to starter player and make sure this walk speed is the same as this walk speed, which it isn't, and I want this one to be 20, so I'm gonna change it, and now we should be able to sprint. Yep, as you can see we can. It's a bit fast. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set that to 20 and that to like 13. So now one thing that you probably will have noticed is that the gun's completely stiff, it's not moving. So what we'll do now is, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the gun move and the camera move. So we're gonna add head bob, and we're gonna use that head bob to move the gun, so we also get the view model to move. So head bob, what we'll do is we'll say run service dot render stepped connect function. Then we'll say if humanoid then, so if the humanoid has been found, then if humanoid dot move direction dot magnitude is greater than 0, then, so we're checking if the humanoid is moving, which if it isn't, which if it is, what we're going to say is we're going to say local head bob. We're only going to do Y, and then we're going to do the X in the actual view model. Because if we do X, it's going to move side to side, and when we actually move side to side, it's going to look weird. So we'll say equals math.sin tick times, I'll put like 10 for now, and then times 0.45, something like that. And we'll say local bob equals vector3.new 0, comma bob y, or head bob y, and then 0. So if you have an X head bob, it's gonna go there. If you have a Z head bob, it's gonna go there. So, but all we need is head bob y, and then we'll say we'll say humanoid dot camera offset equals humanoid dot camera offset times low. I'll put like that there just to see if that works. Yeah, we'll leave that like that, and we'll type here else and paste this, and then we'll just say vector3.new, and that should reset its position. And it smoothly moves. Now it's a bit too much, I will say that. So we'll change this to like 7 and this to like 2. We'll try that. Just play around with the values until you get something you like. We'll copy this, and we'll say if humanoid dot walk speed is equal to 13, then, and then we'll put an else down here. So we'll copy that there, but we'll get rid of the local, and down here we'll copy the same thing, but we'll increase it a bit. It's like 15 and 4. So now when we sprint, it should increase, which it does. Also, we should put else if humanoid.walk speed equals 20. Because if we're, also we need to get rid of that local. Because if we're crouching, we don't want it to, bob fast. That's a bit too fast. I feel like about 18 will be good. I'd say that's good. Maybe like a 3 though, because we don't want it to be too, like, we don't want it to move too much. Yep, I think that's working. Okay, so what we can do now is go into our framework client. We can go to where we update our view model, which is here, and we can say times C-frame. Well, actually no. Up here we'll say a local offset. So local bob offset equals C-frame.new. Actually, what we'll do up here is we'll say local humanoid equals character column wait for child humanoid. We'll control X all of this and we'll say if humanoid then. And in this C frame we'll say humanoid.camera offset.x, and then we can do the same for Y and Z. And then we'll just times it by that. Now it works. It's a bit too much, but it works. Yeah, it does work, but it's way too much. So what we'll do is we'll say divided by, I don't know, like 3. And I'll put a negative in front of them all, just to make it go in the opposite direction so it looks a bit better. We don't have to worry about the other ones because, well, yeah, we're not doing them. That looks much better. We're gonna decrease it for when you're aiming, and we're gonna slow the player down. But what we're gonna do first is we're gonna make it move side to side, but we didn't do that to the camera so it doesn't look weird. So what we can do is here we can say math.abs, and then inside of that math.cos, so cosine. Then we can say tick, and then we can say what we said in character, so 10 and 2, and then we can say times 10, inside of all that times 2, or 0.2 even. And now we can control X this, actually we'll keep it, and we'll say if humanoid dot walk speed equals 13, then paste that. I can't spell. Else, and then we'll paste this again, but we'll set it to what it was in character, which is 18 and 0.3. So we can also say else if humanoid walk speed equals 20, then so we'll control X all of that, and we'll say if humanoid dot move direction dot magnitude is greater than 0, then, and paste that, and we'll just say else, and then copy this, and then just set this to, like, I don't know, 0. We're not using it anyway. Oh, it's because we keep saying local bob offset. We need to say just one bob offset. Looks a bit weird when we move side to side. When we run, oh my god. Here, first of all, we'll say equals bob offset, colon lerp, paste that, comma 0.1. Do the same with this one. And then we'll also do the same with this one. So now if we try it, it should return smoothly. I'll change. Saying it is smoothly, but it's not working. So now here I'm gonna say cframe.new. Also here I'll get rid of the times because we don't need it. So I think that should be right. Does it a lot less, but it's still quite fast. So then we'll get rid of the ABS. Okay, that looks a bit better. It's still quite fast. Our thing doesn't even smoothly move, so we'll just get rid of this. Take it out of the lerp, actually. I don't think we need it. Okay, it is a lot. And what we need to do is I'm going to set this to like 5 and this to 1. This to 1.5 and this to 9. So now it looks much better. Same when we run. Do the same with the pistol. Yeah, it's still quite a lot though. I think walking's okay, it's just running. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to like 7 and this to 3. Set this to like 0, 8 and this to 4. Just to make it a little bit less like synced up so it looks more realistic. Also, it's still like it's still quite big. So what we could just do is on the sprinting thing, we can just shove like a. And just here say like 0.5. Now I'll set that to 8. Walking looks okay. Same with running. But how does it look with the pistol? It looks pretty good. I like it. We'll make it so you can't sprint when you're aiming down sights as well. But yeah, it's that. So what we'll do now is we'll give it a bit of rotation, I think. So we'll say find cframe.angles, which we will also copy for down here. Just put times cframe.angles, and what we'll put in it is we'll say math.cos tick times let's say 2, no, let's put 4 times 0.05, and then we'll say comma math.sin tick times 8 side of that times 0.1 comma 0. So it's not synced up, which is good. That's how we want it. And then I'm just going to try and double the values. Probably not going to look that good, but oh well, whatever. Oh. I think we'll just get rid of that C-frame angles actually. I don't like that. That's not good. Should be like, I'm gonna put that as 2. That's 2, 5. That is 0, 5. That's 4. Then I'm gonna put that as 4. That is 8. That is 1. And god damn it. That as 0.5. See if that is any better. Okay, running doesn't look that bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I like that. But walking, oh god. Oh, I do like that. Maybe not on the walk. Oh no, I actually do like it on the walk. That's pretty nice. I think that's good. Okay, so I think we're done for today. I mean, okay, so what we did today, we obviously did weapons wear and aiming down sights. We also added some walking animations, which I do think are pretty nice. We will make them smoothen out when you end them in the next episode. And we'll also make it less when you're aiming down sights. We'll make it so you can't sprint when you're aiming down sights. We'll change the sprint C-frame so it makes it like point the gun down or to the side. We'll tweak the run animations a bit. But yeah, that's what we've done, and thanks for watching, and thanks for 100 subscribers. Have a great day, and see you later.